Hello everyone and welcome to our community stitch along where we are stitching 1800s designs, and this is a beautiful wintry Christmassy scene that I've picked out for us this week, partially inspired by Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. I'd actually already pulled this out as one of a couple of images I was thinking of for our next stitch along, and then when we got the prompt for Roxy's Journal of Stitchery of winter berries, I thought, yep, it's this one. And I particularly wanted to create a piece, as you know, I love birds. I wanted to create a piece with these little bluebirds, and I wanted for this piece to add a third one in. The lovely Christy from So Bits Christy recently created a piece with 3 bluebirds representing the friendship between Christy, Sally and myself, and so I thought I wanted to replicate something in this piece, and that's why I have added to the design a third bird. And all I did was enlarge the design, did a second copy of the enlarged design, cut out the bird and positioned it. So I just basically copied that bird, and then I used the old carbon paper to transfer the design to my doily. And I picked this doily because it almost is a bit reminiscent of little berries around it, and it's a lovely off-white colour. So this will be going on my Roxy Journal of Stitchery Field Notes journal. Now for my threads, I've picked out this blue, which you've seen before, the Orifil. For the bluebirds, I've picked out this green, which you've seen me use many times. I just absolutely love it, a vintage mile end thread. Then I'm going to use this red crochet thread, unnamed, vintage for the berries, and I think I will use this greeny wool that I've got a big wodge of it from a previous Embroiderers Guild de-stash market for the stem, because I looked and the stems tend to be a lighter green. So let's get stuck into it. I think we'll start with the birds, because you know I love a bird, and I'm going to start with this one that came out a little bit fainter because I had the double layer of paper. I think that explains it. Now I have got myself some new needles tonight, so we'll see how they go. And I think we'll do the trusty old split stitch, I think, if I can actually split the stitch. Although I suppose for the birds, actually, it doesn't matter. Maybe we'll just use a back stitch, because it doesn't matter as much if they look a bit more feathery. In fact, it's actually good if they look feathery. So I hope you are having a great day or a great evening, and I'm sure I'll be having a lovely time chatting with the folks that have been able to join in the live chat. If you happen to be watching this in real time when it's premiering, you can join us in the live chat. If you're just in the regular comments below the video, I think you can sort of swipe to get to the live text chat, and we have a lovely time. I think we do more talking than stitching, but that is okay. It's just so lovely to catch up and share with each other and get to know each other better. Even if we're just talking about what we've been eating, what we've been stitching, what the weather's like, it's just a really lovely little community gathering. And it seems perfect timing to be stitching these little birds in celebration of Stitchy Friendships, having received this week, and in fact just opened last night, although it'll be a few days past by the time you're watching this video, a gorgeous package from my friend Christy from So Bits Christy, and she sent me just the most lovely, thoughtful, happy mail. And so I'm looking forward to, and I've already started a little pile to send her a happy mail back and hopefully bring her as much joy. Just coming down doing, yes, I'm just doing a back stitch. I don't think I need to do the split stitch after all. Lots of lovely little details on the bird. I love embroidered birds. I'm always looking for doilies and tray cloths and tablecloths that have them on. But isn't it great that I can now stitch my own too? And some of the birds in the Briggs design, I don't love them as much as the shape of these ones. I think these ones are, yeah, really, really sweet. So I can see more of these birds in my future. In fact, with it, that piece of carbon paper, I'm sure I'll be able to get some more drawings or some more imprints out from that one piece. And again, don't worry if your stitch isn't totally, ever following a line. It all generally comes out okay in the wash. Like there, I don't think I fully sort of did it exactly following the line. In fact, these I might do more like a little lazy daisy, these feathery ones that go upwards. Come through, catch that one. So I'm going to anchor that down at the top like a detached lazy daisy stitch. I'll do another one here, same method. Should do it the proper way. Can be a bit harder in the hoop sometimes. Take it through its hoop, create the little lazy daisy, and then anchor it down. Can't believe it's almost the weekend again. It's crazy. Sometimes the week gets away from me, and then today it's, yeah, when I'm filming this, it's Thursday, and I thought, oh, I better get started on it. And it sometimes takes a bit of time to load, and with these ones I tend to not get the whole design done in a single hour, so I have to edit the videos. But yeah, I think I'll spend about 20 minutes on the birds and then 20 minutes on the leaves and stem. 15 minutes on the berries, and then I'll go off and sort of, yeah, finish whatever's unfinished, and then come back in the sort of final 5 minutes for showing you the finished piece. Something like that. I'm actually looking forward to, after this, watching Christy's Thrifty Thursday video with all her. She's been having such lovely finds recently. And I love making a Thrifty Thursday video and sharing my finds, but I equally love watching people's Thrifty Thursdays. Oops. And it was lovely watching Kate from the Nest, Kate in the Nest, not from the Nest, and she'd got some beautiful, incredible lace pieces from the lovely Chelsea, who I had shared in a previous Thrifty Thursday or Vintage Finds video, and yeah, Kate was just so blown away by the beautiful pieces that she'd got from Chelsea, and that was just a joy. And then hearing from Chelsea that she's had others reaching out to her, and I think I saw, yeah, a few others saying that they'd got some little treasures. They're just, yeah, as Kate said, they're just not things that you would necessarily find, or would be very unlikely to find in an op shop. They are real treasures. They are from a collector of vintage laces and clothing, and quite incredible. I don't know if I'm exactly following my design. I should probably leave it in front of me so I can kind of keep a bit of an eye on it. But again, I don't think it matters too much. I think you can improvise a bit, and it's probably good actually if these two birds aren't exactly identical. I don't think I outlined the wings quite as much on this one, as probably because it is a bit fainter. So I might just do some more little lazy daisies here, I think. Do work quite well for little wing details. do one coming all the way up here, I think, just from here. That one I might have pulled just a tiny bit too tight. It's better, and then sometimes it's hard to work out where exactly you want to hold your piece to be able to kind of get the angles you want. Oops, getting caught up with my other thread. And I'll just need to put in the sort of joins between the ends of the feathers. And actually I think I'll just pop back over here. While we're here, I just want to have these sort of join in a bit more, just looking at the design. Again, because this will be attached down to my standing up display book, I'm not too fussed about the back of the piece, so a bit of jumping around's okay. Where does that go? Does the body come round and down? Yep, a bit more down to the tail. Yeah, because the lines are definitely a bit fainter here. And then we can probably do some more loopy doopy tail feathers, or I just do the outline first with a regular stitch. And I wonder if I come down here and do a little lazy daisy detached stitch. And maybe another one, seeing that one went a bit thin, but I'm just going to embrace the thinness of that one. Oops, come out there. And then we might come down here. And then let's do another few lazy daisies, a nice big one here. And then another one. Yeah, I think that makes a nice tail on it, and I might just put a few extra little stitches in. One down here to sort of fill in that gap area and also help the other stitches to stay flat. And then we need to do our little detailing stitches here. coming down here. I probably just need to join these little ones up. Although I think sometimes, like we saw on the dog one, you can leave some stitches a bit more where it's feather or fur. It can actually be a bit more separate. Just like little feathers, just kind of giving the sense of something. Oops. Yes, I just pulled the thread out with my finger. And then coming along here. Oops, you have to remember which way you've done your stitch. If you're going to come back up through the same hole, it will undo itself. Amazing how much thread a little bird can use. Let's see how many more stitches I can get out of this little bit of thread. These ones, I wonder if I can do them as small lazy daisies, but not joining open lazy daisies, I guess you'd call them. I think I'm nearing the point that I'll need to secure the thread at the back. No, it's not totally disastrous at the back. Definitely not as neat as an actual doily. There is a tiny little catchy one over there, but we'll take that. So I do want to finish that bird off, and then we will move on to the next element, and then I can do the other birds off camera. So at least you will have seen a bird. Actually get a knot at the end of that, or did it slip right off? There we go. So I might actually just start with a little eye so I don't forget the little eye. And I think I'll just do a French knot for it. Don't want to make it too big, so I'm going to hold my thread nice and tight so that I get a, and I think I may have actually just pulled the knot through to the back, so come through a second time. And we'll try again. Let's keep that thread out of the way. We don't want green in the eye of the bird. I mean, it could be quite pretty, but it wasn't quite the look we were going for. There's that green thread again. Can't even think what that's off. What if I had green on my desk? Many things pass the desk though, so use it for folding my fabrics, tidying things up, and who knows, I've always got piles and I see things and have a project idea and then start gathering bits for that, and my goodness, always things going on in the craft room. It is sometimes these little detailing stitches that really add the give the bird its sort of dimension, so it is worth thinking about those little details. I do love the birds as well that are all blue, but I think this one's going to be nice done as an actual little sort of detailed one with the feathers. So doing another sort of open lazy daisy type stitch to get the little sort of little cuppy shape. Oops. And another one there. Do another one here. Do take a bit of time, but they do give a nice feathery look. So no, quite a few people have already commented that they love this design. I do try and find ones that will appeal to folks. And I thought, yeah, if anyone was stumped with what to do for the Roxy project, I thought, yeah, this could be a good one. And I know we'll all end up with, different interpretations and different styles. I've just loved seeing your creations in our little Facebook group, in our Slow Stitching Friends group. Or no, Stitching Friends, Stitchy Friends. I can't even remember the name, but it'll be linked below the video. Sometimes my brain, especially when it goes into this creating land, everything slows down and relaxes. Do you find that too? Your breathing slows, your body just exhales. That's why I so love doing it in the evenings. It just puts me in the perfect space, closes out the day, and just gets my mind focusing on something really nurturing and pleasurable. Honestly, I just don't know how I used to do evenings before I had my slow stitch. I think I used to kind of tumble into bed not that long after getting home from work. Now that's looking pretty good, I think. Maybe just another feather coming up here. Let's bring one up from about there. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And then maybe a little one down here. And that is, I think, a pretty super little bird. Okay, so I've had a bit of a play with how I want to do the berries. I did start doing French knots. I then started doing lazy daisies. Didn't like the look of those. So I'm now just doing like a little satin stitch to fill in and to create some dimension, but to keep it not too much off the surface of the piece. So I think it's working quite well. So I'll show you over here. So I've just got my thread. And what I usually do, you can sort of do it any direction, but I've been lately putting in a stitch down the middle and then laying some stitches down next to it. So it just sort of builds out from the centre. I think this had a name when we were doing our A to Z of embroidery. Was it like a granito, I think? Because I was just thinking it reminded me of an ice dessert, and I think it was the granitos, where you lay little stitches either side of the middle. So maybe that's what it is. And they sort of curve around a bit, which is good. So yeah, I think that's going to work quite well, which is even slightly different than I was doing them before, but that's a great thing. You get to evolve as you do these pieces. brought you in a bit closer, so hopefully you can still see okay. And you just kind of use your finger to help your stitch lay down, and you just alternate side to side. Yeah, it's working pretty well, I think. And I can just see a bit of the white coming through there. So I might just put another stitch down the centre. Maybe one more stitch from here. And then it looks like it might need one more on the outside here. I'm just trying to fill in where I have the carbon paper marks, because unlike friction marker, the carbon paper doesn't erase, so you do need to stitch over it, unless you're happy to have the sort of the bluey outline. But obviously for this piece I want to probably only have the bluebirds being blue. It's now getting dark. No cicadas tonight. We had heard the cicadas on another video. It was interesting to hear actually other folks in other parts of the world have cicadas. I thought they were maybe an Australian thing, but no. Sounds like you might get even louder ones in other parts of the world, and some that only come out every certain number of years, which is interesting. Just put a little stitch across the top just because it's looking a little bit not around it. That's pretty good, I think. And then we need to do one down here, don't we? Hang on, is there one down there as part of the design? No, there is not, so we won't do one down there. I'll just bring that stitch back into the centre. I was looking at where the leaf curves and thinking, oh, is that a berry? But no, it is not. So we'll need to get a bit more of our red. Again, it uses a decent amount of thread, doesn't it? Especially when I think because I wasted a bit of thread experimenting before I proceeded with the video. I started with the French knots on video. I went, no, they're just not looking. I was trying to put loops around them. I was trying to kind of make them sit out, but I just didn't like the way they were looking. So let's do this bundle here. Does just help to have your finger to kind of position the granito stitches where you want. I feel like I need another one on this side. That's pretty good, I think. And I'll come down here, do one here. Sounded just a bit different. Nope, nothing bad going on underneath. It's just the thread made a strange sound, and I thought I'd better check if the thread's having a party on the back without me. Check that it's not doing the knotty knot dance. So what are you up to for the weekend ahead? This will be showing on Saturday night Australia or Melbourne time, but it'll be just the start of the Saturdays for some of you, or just the middle of the day in other parts of the world. Now I'm thinking I might do a slightly bigger one here. I don't need to do one in that little gap area, so I might even lay one more. Make this berry slightly bigger. And I might do the same on this berry. That's the nice thing. As we stitch, we can improvise. And then we make these designs our own as well, don't we? Had some lovely dinner tonight. Just had a ham and cheese quiche, and I made a salad with a beautiful pear. We're now getting a different veggie farm box each week because unfortunately our farm box supplier has had to take a break, so we had to find another one. But it's been really lovely quality food, fresh vegetables as well. And we got some beautiful pears. So I made a sort of a pear and lettuce salad, and then normally I'd put parmesan, but because the quiches had cheese in them, I decided to just put some Spanish olives sliced up thinly with it, just to give that sort of salty kick against the sweetness. It actually worked really well. You know, sometimes you try things and you're not sure whether they're going to work, but I quite like sweet and salty, so definitely worked, and Alex enjoyed it too. And then I just dressed it with a bit of a balsamic glaze, which again had a little bit of sweetness to it. And then it was a nice crisp cos lettuce that the lettuce was. And so all of that salad got devoured very quickly. In summer we just love our salads, and it's fun to kind of make them a bit different and interesting. And even for Travis, I made his dinner interesting. He has his vegetables, but I gave them a light roasting, and also put some pear and some apple in with his sweet potato. And then he has, fresh lettuce and cucumber. Alex often looks at Travis's dinner and says there'd be people in restaurants and things that would be thrilled if they got that. And and then he had some leftover mince first up, and then because he gets 2 dinners, we split his dinner in 2. So he gets one at 5:30 and one at 6:30. He had sardines for his second course. He loves his fishes as well. Loves all his food, but it's good that he loves his vegetables so much. That makes his mama very happy. I want to keep him as healthy as possible. So I'll just finish off, I think, this bunch of berries, and then we'll move on to the leaves and the stem. So hopefully if you haven't tried this granitos stitch before, where you lay the stitches down almost like a satin stitch, but just laying them around a central stitch. It is a very effective little stitch. And you can kind of work out which way you want your first stitch to go, which way you want the kind of, the berry sheen to have. And don't worry if a stitch like that last stitch probably wasn't perfectly positioned, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I'll just make sure the next stitch covers in the little white area. Sometimes you might need one more, like an extra stitch on another side, or even 2 extra stitches. You just judge it based on the area that you're trying to fill and the shape that you want to get. I'm happy with that shape, and then we'll do a berry down here. Oops. Oops. Can be hard if you're coming through where the thread is sometimes. Oops, I don't want to bring my needle up there. Bring it up about there. It feels like it's struggling through something. Maybe we'll just try again. If it doesn't want to come through, there must be a reason for that. Probably it was trying to go through the notch. Let's just do a stitch over here first. And then I think I'll come over here. And I should say as well that I've got everyone who's struggling at the moment with what's happening in the world. I've got you all held in my thoughts, and sending you strength and courage and love and whatever other care you need. It can be very hard when you're observing things that scare or cause fear to your core. But a few of you have said how much the stitching and the community that we have here is so important to you, to have an outlet, to have an escape from, to do that rather than watching the news cycle. And I think if we could all show each other so much more compassion in this world, it would definitely be a better place. And so this isn't a political statement, but this is a statement of care and compassion to people that are really hurting and fearful. There we go. Okay, so we might move on to our, oops, not the blue. Will we do a bit of stem and then we can do some leaves, and then after that I will do some more stitching, and then I'll come back for a final little show and tell. Oops. See, wool can be a little bit tricky on occasion. I think I'll just do a split stitch with the wool because that's usually nice for a stem. There are some little details down on the stem which I suppose I can add in while I'm here. Just some little markings at the very base of the stem. Which again you probably don't have to do, but they do just add, oops, there's a bit of red sneaking through. Probably one of the bits of red that I had chopped off at some point when I was doing my French knot destruction. And I'll continue this way. So split stitch, just popping up halfway along in the middle of the actual thread, so it sort of pierces it, holds it in place and gives you an almost twisty look. Before I add this to my field notes, I might have to have it out on display at Christmas time. So I'm pleased with how it's turning out. I could have also done a whipped back stitch here as well. That would have probably worked as well. That's just another option for you. Let's come back here. Just get this stem done and then come back down the branch, I think, and then we can move on to the leaves. We did that a bit longer, so I am just going to pop up in the middle of that and do a split stitch in the middle of the other stitch. And then coming back the other side. Probably with wool, I definitely shouldn't be using this length of the wool. In fact, I should probably actually just cut part of the end off because I don't even need that much wool at the moment. Put that aside for later. This wool will wear a bit more and then kind of has the risk of breaking on you. Oops, don't want to do that. I need to finish that bit of stem there. Just do up the stem a little bit, but not the whole stem, I don't think, because this probably isn't as scintillating. But then again, hopefully it's just company if you're stitching, or if you are joining in the live chat. There won't be that much stitching happening anyway. They'll be chatting. But as I say, that's lovely in its own right. Let's do back split stitch here because it's much easier on the corners to do that. Otherwise you risk undoing your stitches. What's happening here? What on earth is happening? And we have a notch. That is what on earth is happening. It's just a regular Christine program. We have a notch, but that's okay. Right, so let's then, I think I need to split that last stitch. I can get my needle to come through in a semi-appropriate place. I wonder if I should have done that other branch, but I'll come back and do that. Because I can come back and do that and then continue up with another bit of thread down the track. Sometimes that's just the thing to think about, how you're going to kind of use your thread efficiently and not travel it too much on the back and not have to kind of tie it off all the time. It's nice to use a variety of threads on these just to give them a bit more interest. I know a lot of the vintage embroideries, that would all just have been stranded cottons, I guess. But we have the option in the sort of slow stitching version of embroidery to add texture with the threads we choose to and add sort of interest. Back stitch here because it's a curvy bit. Camera was trying to tell me that it is low on battery, so okay. Just get this done and then we'll get on to our leaves. Feel like I've got a black hair in it, who knows, a Travis piece of fur. Reassures me that everyone else with dogs says they get dog hairs. They are amazed how much dog hair they get. Because we're coming into summer, even when I sit on the couch and give Travis a cuddle after dinner, I get so much fur on me. So I'm not surprised that it's floating off and floating around. Here we are. Tie this off on the back. just jibby-jibbing my finger. Hopefully I didn't pierce it. I only want the holly to be red. Nope, I think we're okay in the finger. Okay, on to, we'll get let's just do a holly leaf. Maybe I'll just take this one for no particular reason, apart from it's a nice sized one. So what am I going to do? Am I going to do split? I think I'll just do back stitch because this thread tends to have quite a nice look even with a back stitch. Sort of joins up okay generally, I think. And because we're doing our sort of little points as well, oops, catching on the doily. When I get to the top, I think I'll come down and do this, the centre section, because I'll do that with a Y type stitch, I think. I just realised this this one over here, I haven't actually joined it up with a stem back to the plant. That's funny, it's just floating in thin air. Now this one I haven't probably brought it. I'm just going to put a couching stitch in because you can see that thread sitting up higher than where I want it to be. So this is a good little trick. If that happens to you, you can just put a little stitch over and drag the thread back to where you want it to be. Oops, and I probably just need to fix that up there. I'll bring a stitch back. And then I'll come down and do the centre, I think. So, I'm going to go like that, and like that, pop it up where that centre is, and then wrap the thread underneath, and make a Y, come down to the next point, and do the same, and like that, and then down to the next point, and do this. And so that works. That's quite an effective way to get your veins of your leaf done. And then I can come back and so yeah, a back stitch or a split stitch would be great for the outlining of this. If your thread's nice and thick like mine, probably a back stitch is fine. And you do want those nice points, so that's where the back stitch is good. Just bring it back to the point and then come forward and do because mine's a backwards and forwards, it's a second version of backstitch. I'm actually even feeling that I didn't get the point as pointy as I want it, so I'm going to come up here and just add an extra little pointy bit in. Same on this side. Perfect. Well, perfectly imperfect for me. So I will go off and I think I'll get all of these finished, and then I don't know, I might come back and just finish this little bird over here, given that it's a bit different from these ones. So as I predicted, it's the next day, and in fact the next evening now, which is Friday night. So I thought I'd better get a wiggle on and get it finished, get the video edited and get it loaded. But as you can see, it is almost done. I thought we'd just finish off stitching the bird together. I think I've got about 5 minutes left in the video. I should have got some thread for the legs, but we'll either use the blue or I might quickly grab some brown. I've actually got some brown over here. So I have used the wool to fill in the stem. I prefer to fill in stems. So I just used this wool and did some split long and short stitches really, which gave a lovely, almost sort of like a woven vining sort of look to it. Continued with the berries, continued with the leaves as I'd shown you, stitched the other bird. So on this one, whereas I'd used some longer lazy daisy stitches here, I did some more shorter stitches just to give you a look at the difference between it. So this has got more of a sort of a sheen, and it looks a bit more, I guess a little bit more stylized, and that's a bit more sketched. So that's a bit of fun. And then this is a different bird. So I'm using shorter stitches on it. Haven't yet decided what I'm going to do for the tail, which is where we're up to now. So I think I will keep just doing the shorter stitches so you can see what those look like. So I'm just really going to do a back stitch, I think. And yeah, just so thrilled with how this has come out. I think it's so lovely, and it will definitely be up in our up for Christmas. Although I might have my whole field notes assembled by Christmas, who knows. I thought I'd let you know as well that I think we'll put a little pause on these as we come into the silly season. I've got a busy weekend next weekend. We're planning to be busy moving things back from the house that I'm getting ready to rent out. And so that will be a busy Sunday, and I'll probably have an early night on Saturday in readiness. And then I'm sure a lot of you are starting to get into all those end of year things, and your time is becoming a little bit more pressed. And I also have quite a few Christmassy crafts that I just, besides this and one other, I haven't really got stuck into my Christmas crafts yet. So I thought it might be fun to put a bit of time into that. I also want to get some of these designs that I had stitched for my heirloom family quilt onto the quilt. So I'll need to get that unfolded and start laying pieces out for that. So yeah, I thought we'll put a little pause on and then we can decide maybe there'll be some time in late December, but probably in the new year we'll come back to it. There's still a chance I might pick up some of the designs for other Roxy prompts for the field notes. So if I do, I'll just sort of let you know through the community posts and through the Facebook group if we're doing that. But yeah, I just thought I'd let you know that, don't expect a design or a stitch along session next Saturday evening. But I'll keep you posted if plans change. I'm very much emergent in my stitching, but I knew for sure that next weekend will be a sort of a no-go for having a lot of spare time. And then I'm sure by Sunday night I'll be a little bit exhausted. And then when we get the stuff back, there'll be a bit of sort of, sorting things into it. And I've got quite a few things in boxes, getting all the crockery into the one of my display crockery units. And then sort of going through 2 houses worth of things and just working out, what do we keep and what do we continue to pop off to the op shop. All those life admin things when I'd much rather be stitching, but they are important, essential things to do. Alas, being an adult means, that they come into your responsibility. Now, brown. I don't know if this brown is going to be too thick for the legs, but it might be okay. I was originally thinking the brown for the stem, but then when I looked at the holly stem, it kind of made better sense to do it in the lighter green. So yeah, we'll just put a couple of little legs in. So this is probably a good point to say that the video will soon be coming to a close for this evening. So if you want to say your farewells to the lovely folks in the live chat. I'll just put some little feet on, because actually when I was creating the stem I stitched over where the little sort of feet on the branch were coming out. Don't know if I need, they usually have a little one coming out at the back, don't they, as well? Sort of like a little stabilising part of the foot. Don't know if that's quite right, but almost looks like a big foot. I might have made it. I can always go over with a bit of green if I've kind of overdone the feet. Should just do one down and then one sort of out the back, it might be better. Yeah, I think that's okay. Don't think it looks too much like Bigfoot, but we'll just have a final look at it all. You will probably need an iron when I clip it out of its hoop, as most of them tend to need to have. It's actually not too bad. So I think, yeah, I probably don't need to zoom you in anymore. But I'm pretty pleased with that, and it's, yeah, just a lovely little memento for some of the many stitchy friendships that I have formed this year, and just so lovely to have some of my favourite vintage embroidery motifs included in it. And I've not seen any Christmas ones with birds, and I've not seen that many Christmas embroideries, so I think it's lovely. And I love that it is more in the slow stitching style. It's definitely not perfect if you look at the back. It is so far from perfection, but I love it, and I loved kind of problem solving how to do things like the berries. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you soon, not for another stitch long, but no doubt for other videos and lots of creativity. So take care, folks, be kind to yourselves, and I look forward to chatting to you soon. Bye everyone.